Now I'd like to thank Gavin Schmidt and the Hard Rock Casino, Hotel and Casino, for hosting us and sponsoring this event. Thank you, Gavin. The Biloxi Seafood Festival is a long-standing tradition of the Biloxi Chamber, and we attract visitors and residents throughout the two-day event. The 41st Annual Seafood Festival will be held in partnership with the city on September 10th and 11th at the Biloxi Town Green, and we thank you, Mayor Gillich, for your support for that event. In addition to the Biloxi, we are proud that the Mississippi Department of Marine Resources will continue to partner and sponsor this event. Thank you to General Spraggins and our friends at DMR for their support of that event, as well as the Harrison County Board of Supervisors. I would like to invite you to sponsor or to be part of the Biloxi Seafood Festival. It is because of sponsorships that this long-standing tradition continues. Stay tuned later in the program as we unveil our winning artwork for this year's theme of the festival. We have a great program today. We're going to start by hearing from Mayor Gillich. Then we're going to honor our police and firemen of the quarter. Then the Chamber will be awarding over $10,000 worth of small business grants. And then as the conclusion of the program, we will unveil this year's Seafood Festival poster. So without any further ado, I'm going to introduce our mayor, Mayor Fofo Gillich.
But thank you, Bill, and thank you to the Hard Rock for hosting this, and want to welcome everybody and Chamber for always putting this together. This poster is always very special to me. It's in my office and in our city hall, so I'm looking forward to looking at this year's poster. I do want to welcome everyone, especially I see we got a number of chiefs and elected officials and servant people who serve us here, and we've got, of course, the council and our Keesler cousins. They're always in force when we do these things, so I'm appreciative of everything y'all do and what we do together. And we're closing in on some things that everybody's going to be happy with as far as Keesler and what we've been trying to do over the last 5 years. But I do welcome all of them and appreciate the things that we do. And this is always a good event for me. I think I visited every table, so it's almost like, old home week. And also I've had 2 cups of coffee, and I'm wired in more ways than one. So I do, bear with me a little bit. And again, I want to thank all of our City of Biloxi directors and employees and staff. The things that we're going to cover today couldn't have been possible without their dedication and hard work. And I mean, they do some work, and I'm truly grateful to each and every one of you for that. I do want to stop just a moment, and one person is missing today. Not missing, but he's probably banging away on some emails right now. When I get back to the office, Mike Leonard, who has been just a tremendous blessing for me, 5 years ago became my chief administrative officer. And believe you me, it's been great for me. He's recovering from some surgery last week, but he's banging out those emails, so all you directors, you'll be hearing from him directly too. But I can brag on him. I told him when I talked to him, and he was very, very comfortably retired. We were in the first grade together and done a lot of things. So played football together, and he went up to the military academy, up to the Naval Academy, and became a Marine. But he was retired. I said, come back to Biloxi, and we'll have a good time. He's still asking me, when are we going to have a good time? Right now. So like I said, I can. Didn't want to embarrass him, but he's a great guy, and those who work with him, and even the folks that don't work for the City of Biloxi understand what kind of value and what kind of strength he adds to our overall picture. So with that being said, the last 20 months or so been nonstop. I'll say it's extraordinary, and it's going to be and continues to be extraordinary. In July, there's a lot of things to cover, so I can't really cover everything. This is not breakfast and lunch with the mayor. So I want to save time for some questions after this, but I'll give you some of the latest and greatest. But right now we're in July, the 10th period of our fiscal year 2022. And fiscal year 2023 budget preparations are already underway, workshops and hearings and meetings. And hopefully by October 1, the 2023 budget will be adopted. And during the process, budget preparations always start, how are we doing this year? And what are we forecasting for the end of the year? It just so happened that the council members here delivered a Standard & Poor's rating report. And take a minute to talk about that. It was just completed, and it looked at the whole package. You know, Biloxi's economy, revenues, expenses, expenditures, debt service, cash, liquidity, and reserves. The result, Biloxi was rated AA-, and mentioned many times in the report that we're rated strong to very strong. And not too many, others can make that statement. But just a few weeks ago, we passed some financing and some financial bonds, but we knew we were in pretty good standing because of the 2.75% interest rate that we got when we sold those bonds. Today's market, what's happened with the Fed and those basis points and so forth, any lower rating would have resulted in probably 2% higher, interest rate. So we're real proud, and it's all in line with the investment that we're going to make in the future to deliver those products and services and, things for not only our citizens, but our visitors to enjoy. We've got about 50 or so capital projects that we're in the middle of, from infrastructure to everything. We're going to hit that a little bit and give you some updates. But, amazingly, just a few more financial things. Amazingly, this year, gross gaming revenues for the 8 casinos in Biloxi could bump up to $1 billion again. I think we have a record year in 2021 in the middle of this pandemic, in the middle of the challenges that are ongoing. And for the last 15 months, the city sales tax diversion has exceeded $1 million. It's 15 months in a row. And the average is about 1.2 million. You see why I think the outlook is good. All this is to provide citizens and the services that everybody needs and the improvements that they want. So I am very confident of where we're going to go. And, it's going to be a fight. It always has been. But I've been in the ring before, and I've gone a few rounds. So I'm ready to go through and push, to the 23 and beyond. So now get to the projects. Let me hit on some things and give you a few minutes to formulate some questions, and I'll be here for that. But, main gate, that was the main push from when now General Edmondson was 81st, and we devised a way to put that $37 million project together. And supply chain and some of these other challenges have kind of dragged this thing out, but we need a few more months. We'll have the surface coat completed and deliver the project, where it's seamless from I-110 all the way into the gate. I think it's working pretty well. We've had a few challenges on Forest Avenue to the main gate, but we've slowed them down, put a few time and stop signs and stuff, to do it. But I think it's all in all working very well. South contract continues to move forward. That's south of the railroad tracks, deep sewer, water and sewer projects. I think we've got St. Michael's 1 and 2, a challenge that hit us a few months ago on Howard Avenue. Again, this deep sewer, if you've ever seen a 34-foot hole in Biloxi, it's something. But basically you let gravity be your friend, and the sewer flows down so we can eliminate a lot of these lift stations. So from about Oak Street going towards Holly, there's a deep sewer main, but amazingly 19 feet down, right at Crawford Street and Rossetti. On Howard Avenue, they ran into thousands of gallons of creosote that have pooled up over the years, and everything is timed out. It was almost like when we ran across those bones on the beach. So Walt will kind of wave our hands. I think we're looking at 2,500 cubic yards of sand, which contains this creosote, and to remove that and do something with it. And that's put a timeout on that progress. But every day there's a challenge, and we work our way through that. Again, the supply chain issue, we've got a citywide paving contract that is issued, and we do this annually. But when the project started, I think the supplier faced about $400 a liquid ton of asphalt charges. And of course, they uplifted it, and we would tell them, instead of doing it ourselves, go pave this or fix this. They faced, right today, that same $400 charge is now $800, so they can't make any money on it. So we used some information from the Mississippi Department of Transportation Red Book to have that adjusted up or down based on the cost that the construction industry is facing. So that's another bob and weave that we have to actually adjust day by day. Asphalt may be something different, cost of the pipe, those kinds of things. But our crew is expecting to go with that flow and work our way through it. But we've done some really good things, and Keesler being at the top of the list. The West contract, we're actually in the middle of that, trying to get that bid, and that will be probably the last $120 million of the $344 million that we'll attack. But a couple of things, the Baby Boardwalk, I think we cut the ribbon on that the other day, and I'm really getting good comments about the old, ugly rocks that used to be there are really now used. You can see people walking almost like the bridge. People are walking on it and enjoying that, enjoying the touch and feel and smell of the water in that beautiful back bay. Of course, Eagle Point, and we have some of the parks and recreation projects. Eagle Point, we even got a pickleball court out there, and a couple of other things that are happening. And on the O'Reilly, Bush, Beck, business and improvements, that's in the mix as far as what we're doing. Now, the seawall walkway, I mentioned the sand. That's our next step, but we actually delayed about 60 days because of the lease turns. So that construction stopped. And as soon as the lease turns go to South America, we can get that started again. Or Deer Island, either one. So once that's completed, then our next step is replenishing the sand between Oak Street and the small craft harbor. That's time for this product. This is actually a byproduct of a fracking operation from a sand pit company. That this is a byproduct of what they do as far as screening and refining and cleaning. So this is heavy sand. You really wouldn't tell me. I'm welcome you to come touch and feel it. But it's going to be very interesting. The whole idea, the heavier sand will not raise and blow onto Highway 90 as probably this is 500 to 800 micron. What we have now is probably 200 or 300 micron sand. That's the powder-like sand that's been pumped up to replenish the sand beach in the past. So this may be a new way and a faster way to get that beach looking white like it needs to be. A couple other projects, the Main Street Railroad crossing was a big challenge about 3 years that deadly accident we had, but we finally put the team together, CSX included, DOT, of course the city of Biloxi. That has been bid, I think, and we're going to move forward with that. Sanger Theater. Sanger Theater in the Visitor Center, going through some renovations that we're all looking forward to opening the door, and especially the visitors. And I think Bill said we're looking about October, I think, for those renovations. Of course, about a $600,000 roof is on the top of it right now, and then all the interior renovations are going. But the Sanger, again, there was a concern by the Mississippi Department of Archives and History about the look and the feel of the west, the main entrance, the brick and the mortar. I mean, they took all kinds of, photographs and observations and inspections. So that has been set as far as what the contractor is to do. So you can still see the the scaffolding and all of that, and then also the doors, the doorways and windows, and that whole treatment is ready to go. We expect that in September to be completed, and then we'll go on to the interior, some of the things that we will do to really get the doors open. So we're very close with that, and so we'll hopefully we had an update from the architects and engineers and the contractor to get that done by September. Ground Zero, some of the things that happen in downtown Biloxi, of course, the Ground Zero in the Bark Building. Bark Building is bare and ready to be put together, and some of the things you've never would have imagined. You can see through the building, you can see what's going to happen. I think as far as the window treatment, the balconies, all those things. And at Ground Zero had 2 sold-out shows this past week. I think Wet Willie and Tab Benoit. So it's a neat place, and I told Lee, I said, it has the potential, especially with the 3rd floor and some of those unique kinds of venues, to be one of the best in history as far as nightclub entertainment kind of deal. So we're real pleased with the progress there. A little bit further down, we got Bella, the old Wells Fargo building, and Howard Square, which was the old Josette's, ready to start doing some things as far as downtown living. It's some short-term rental. It's a big situation with short-term rentals all across the city. Challenges, but we'll meet those. But between Howard Square, and the top of the Barks building, we're going to move forward with that whole concept of living, playing in the same spot and making a living down there too. So we're looking forward to the retail on Howard Avenue and lighting up and firing up very shortly. Other projects that funding in one form or the other, we've got Go Mesa, which is a federal program administered through the DMR, Go Mesa, Tidelands, ARPA, and a couple of other programs that were kind of aligned, these 50 or so projects. But some of those projects include the Coon Street boat ramp, expansion of that, and a little bit of parking there, Hiller Park boat ramp, and the Keegan's Bayou dredging and improvement. So we've got that lined up, I think, and money coming. I think by September timeframe, we'll have a solid plan on when we'll bid that out. But most of those things are, are planned and almost ready to bid. Bay Vista and some of the, long-term master plans. The West Biloxi master plan, we went through and identified places that we need to improve that water, that sewer, the sidewalks and so forth. And these are millions of dollars worth of projects, but the West Biloxi would include Tanglewood and Bay Vista. And there's a Bay Vista water well, I think that's pretty significant that's going in too. So we're trying to get the rest of the city after the east part, the north and the south project completes this side, moving on to that side as well as the Wool Market master plan. We've kicked around every Thursday morning. I meet at a Chevron station in Wool Market, and I call it the Wool Market Planning Commission, and we go over some things. But Nathan will attest that we've got some ideas that we cross, but improvement to Shriners and Shortcut, as well as Shorecrest, and also the extension of water and sewer up to some of the new subdivision opportunities we have. That's on the radar. Again, that's Jim Bird Road and water main and all these citywide kinds of repair, street repair, municipal building, as I mentioned with Bill. And this is all part of the Zeta, the whole package we face. But again, high on our radar is of course the Highway 90 beautification. We spent about $1 million last October trying to get some of that sand that stacked up over the last 5 years. And we were successful in doing it, but it's back right now. That's why the sand, some of the things I think we'll do between now and then to save that $1 million or so that we got together and did. It needs to be done as a continuing operational basis. But sidewalk and parking improvements on Highway 90 is high on the radar. And of course, pickleball restrooms and expansion of the pickleball opportunities. Again, one of our goals is to be the pickleball capital of the world. So, and I think it's about $100,000 for 2 pickleball courts, but we're going to work that in. But we do have, of that bond I had mentioned earlier, these are, are heavy duty on our radar would be the pickleball expansion and that, as well as the Pops Ferry extension. And that's to take Pops Ferry Road, across Pass Road, across the railroad tracks, into Highway 90, tying Highway 90 and becoming, at least to be designated a state road, which it is not. You all know and love the exercise we went through is with a toll bridge, right? Well, another part of that exercise, we're going to look at rehabbing the structure we have. I don't think there's a great opportunity to get $180 million to do a bridge. So we got to live with what we have, and we will. But we can do some things, and we're pitching to get that 15 or so million to rehab that bridge, so at least the mechanism won't break down, and we'll live through that. But the big part of this, and we're committed, again, the council was behind us in doing a couple of things. That $14 million was the prime part of that thing was to execute. We're shovel ready, we're bid ready. We have our matching part of the money, but to complete that extension to Highway 90, that's going to change the ballgame. That extension will come out just to the west of the Coliseum, and it will tie and improve all the access on Pass. If you've ever tried to go north off of Pops Ferry Road, off of Pass Road to Pops Ferry Road, the whole ball game will change. So we're hopeful that we're going to be in place with the construction. Again, thanks to the bond and thanks to the things that we did, we're prepared to go forward. We've applied 3 years in a row. That's number 2 as far as this RAISE grant. So we're just in a place where we can't wait anymore. We've got to make that happen. We've got to make that happen because of what we need to do long term. So we're rolling our sleeves up. And again, the council has approved this bond issue, $7 million of which is to do this road. If we get help from the federal government, that's fine, but we're going to make this happen. So that's high on the radar, and thanks to to what we've been able to accomplish, it's at a reasonable rate. And look at the 20-year plan there. Also, A.J. Holloway Sports Complex has been, not really, a continual investment into, but we're talking about a multi-million-dollar investment in upgrading the parks, the ball fields with turf, to minimize the amount of work we have to do to keep it up to snuff. Let me mention also, the last budget, we included about 15 more police positions, 10 more in public works, and 10 more in, parks and recreation, all to get this maintenance and this beautification rolling, but also public safety. Chief, I think they've just conducted pretty good job fairs two times last Wednesday and Saturday, and I think we're successful. So if you know anybody who wants to be a policeman or wants to work for the city of Biloxi, it's a great space. It's a great place to be with a good future. So we're pushing to staff it up so we can address these ongoing things. This is one of our 50 or so projects, but the hottest things on my radar is to deliver that extension, the Pops Ferry extension. That's going to do a whole lot of things for the right reasons without a toll. So anyway, that's my story. And if you have any questions, I covered a lot of ground and probably not all that well, but we're here, and I'm proud to be here, and I'm proud of the city of Biloxi people, 604 employees, and we work with them day by day and minute by minute. So I thank y'all, and I'll be around for any questions, or I can say here for any questions. Otherwise, thank you very much. Got any questions?
Mayor, what about the corporate theater? Is there a lot of people down there?
Yeah, that is big. We just completed the improvements to the parking situation there. We went from about 72 parking places to 173. Put the flagpole, put Fred up there, trying to correct some of the lighting and do those things with timely garbage cans and keep that, but it's well done. And we're proud of our engineering and the folks that put that together. As I mentioned, Zeta destroyed that pier, another hurricane, another pier, another copy of that. That's going to be about a $4.2 million project. Had it been, in the old days, you just have to replace it. FEMA would reimburse you just how much it costs to repair it, as is. This year, we're able to, what they call a mitigation amount, which is equal to what it would do. So if it would take $1.5 million to replace that pier, they'll allow us another $1.5 million to put it back better, build back better. I heard that term before, but anyway. But we did look at that. That's an 800-foot pier. And the engineering group decided that to do something different, not only with just not wood, but some of the things we're going to do. So the 800 feet, of the 800 feet section we're going to cover, 360 feet will be a concrete, not concrete, but stone breakwater to keep sand from moving one way or the other, and then tie in with concrete pilings and the structure with flow-through decking. So we're in search of about $1.2 million to complete that. But that engineering is done. The big part of that is permitting. Raise your hand if you've seen a sturgeon before. Seen a sturgeon? Well, let me tell you, when you go 230 feet off that seawall, you better have your sturgeon study together. So that's a big thing. And what do you have to do to keep, this is not a joke, this is for serious. So we're in the permitting phase of that project. It's going to be $4.5 million, and it will be concrete, it'll be flow-through decking, the lighting, it'll be much better, will be built bigger and better, but I can't tell you when we'll pull the trigger on that. But that's going to go, that's the top of our radar too. So I mentioned, we went through Zeta and the COVID, and now inflation, and the labor aspect of the deal, and just every supply chain challenge that put us have to dance around and plan these events, playing around these things what we face. So, but that's a good. I'm sorry I didn't mention that, but it's on the radar, and we're hopeful. We'll get that 1.2 million. I'll ask the council for the 1.2 million. We'll go forward with that. So, any other questions? Rachel?
Any other questions?
Well, y'all are easy today. Rachel, we're going to miss you, Rachel. She's moving on to, might not see her smiling face here, so I think she's going on to greater opportunities. We wish you the best. So I thank you. I've appreciated everything you've done for us and for our community. So thank you.
Who's ready to see the winning artwork for the 41st Annual Biloxi Seafood Festival?
Hi, I'm Lindsay Lamas-Miller. I am the selected artist for the 41st Annual Biloxi Seafood Festival poster. This is my piece, and it's very representative of the culture and heritage that is the maritime and seafood industry here along the Mississippi Gulf Coast. My great-grandparents transferred to Biloxi in approximately 1903 through Ellis Island. They were immigrants from Croatia, and they brought with them a storied history of naval experience, and they brought that to the Mississippi Gulf Coast and really helped to build the seafood industry. And so what you see in the poster is really reflective of that heritage and history. So the boat is representative of Charlie Gutierrez's shrimp boat, the Green Wave, and he was a distant relative of mine. And then the ship's wheel is actually a replica of the ship's wheel that was my great-grandfather's schooner, the Jolly Traveler. We also have elements of things that represent, to me, the seafood industry on the Gulf Coast. So we've got shrimp and crab. as well as oysters. And then the little nod down here is actually a more current personal story. So my daughter, since she was old enough to attend, has attended the Sea and Sail Adventure Camp at the Seafood Museum, and in that she's always come to stay about a week with my parents. And so in that that time that she's been able to spend with them, my dad was able to teach her how to throw a cast net. So it's just kind of a neat relationship between the two of them and what they were able to share together. So that's really representative of that moment that they were able to share together.